It's the most wonderful time. This past winter, I got to experience the beauty that is Sundance Mountain Resort. And for the most part, it was a pretty good experience, which is why I am leaving you with my review of Sundance Mountain Resort. Sundance Mountain Resort is located in Provo Canyon. Just off of Highway 189, it's about a 20 to 30 minute drive from Provo, which is honestly not too bad if you're a busy student and you don't have the whole day to dedicate to snowboarding. It's nice, it's close, it's local, it helps me save on gas, and that's something that really helped me. Pricing. Lift tickets are never cheap for winter sports, and Sundance is unfortunately no exception. A ticket for a full day of riding, which starts at 9 a.m. and ends at 4:30 p.m., will cost you about $95. And if you think you can get away with a cheaper ticket only for going half a day, well, it's only $10 cheaper at $85 for half a day of riding. So it's not really that great of a deal. If you ride at night from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., then you can go there for about $50. So you get about 4.5 hours of riding for about $50, which is a little bit better than, 4.5 hours during the day for $85. But of course, there are discounts offered, such as military, child, senior discounts, college discounts. Just look on their website. I'm sure they have some sort of discount. If you plan on making Sundance your main resort for the season, I would recommend you get a season pass. I got the college restricted pass, which ran me about $425. And the restricted pass basically just meant I couldn't go on certain days, which was mostly holidays like Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President's Day, that type of thing. Considering I went about 25 to 30 days this year, I saved about $2,400 on tickets, so this is definitely a lifesaver. I would recommend it. And if you're not a college student, they still have other season passes, and you can view the options on their website as well. I believe this year they're doing something called an S card, where you can buy a certain amount of days for cheaper than at the window lift tickets. So as I'm trying to be as informative as I can, always just check their website because they probably have the most up-to-date information. Now let's talk about parking. Parking is very limited at Sundance. There are two lots. The first lot, which is the lower lot, only holds about 20 to 30 cars. The upper lot is significantly bigger, which is where I parked a lot of the times, and there's a lift up there which I can start riding right away. Or if I want to take the shuttle, I can go down to the lower lot and get on the lifts down there, or I can go to the gift shop, I can grab food, whatever I need to do. On days where there is fresh snow, the lots will fill up very quickly and they will turn people away because they don't have enough parking spaces. You can't park along the road that's leading up to the resort, anything like that. So if you know it's gonna be a good snow day, make sure you get up early and you get up to the resort early so you can get yourself a spot. There have been days where I've had to wait until a parking spot opens up before I can even start riding. It hasn't happened to me too often. I think I've gotten lucky, but it has happened before. Let's talk about the mountain. Sundance has 450 skiable acres of terrain when it's operating at 100% capacity. With a vertical drop of 2,150 feet, it is one of the smaller resorts when compared to other resorts in Utah like Brighton or Park City. The difficulty of runs at Sundance are pretty balanced. 35% of the runs are beginner, 45% of the runs are intermediate, and 20% of the runs are expert. There are plenty of areas to learn and improve your riding on this mountain. There's a few different cat tracks if you like that thing. There's a nice little bowl they have that's pretty good when they get fresh snow. There's some fun little tree runs that you can do if you're an adventurous type. And there are two little terrain parks. The first one is really small. It's all just rails and boxes, and you can work on your rail riding there. And the other park features a few jumps, some bigger rails, but for the most part, nothing too amazing or exciting. It's about medium to small sized features. So obviously snowfall varies from season to season. This past season wasn't that great, but I also found that when I was looking at past season snowfall totals, Sundance tends to not get as much compared to other resorts around the area. Like for example, even for this past winter, there are other resorts getting 8 to 12 inches on certain days, and then Sundance would maybe only get 1 to 2 inches of that storm, which kind of sucked, but still, snow is snow. However, on days when it does snow at Sundance and when it snows a lot, the mountain gets really fun. The snow is light, it's fluffy, and you'll probably have one of the best days at your life at Sundance if it's got some fresh snow. Aside from parking, the only thing that'll slow down your day is the lifts. There are only 2 lifts on the front mountain and 2 lifts on the back mountain. 3 of those lifts are quads and 1 of them is a double chair, but none of those lifts are high speed. Now that is changing this year because they have made some improvements. They're opening up a little bit of new terrain, putting in a high speed quad lift. So that'll hopefully alleviate lines, make you get up the mountain faster. But as for this past season, that wasn't an option for me. Depending on how fast you ride down the mountain, there could be certain times where you would spend more time on the chairlift rather than riding on the actual mountain, which is something that no one wants to do. Not to mention those lift lines pile up, especially on powder days. Regardless, the mountain is very beautiful and fun. One of my favorite runs is going off of Bear Claw into these trees legs over here and then cooking it down to either reds or the flathead lift. Dining. Now, I'm not really one to dine at ski resorts because it tends to be way too expensive for me, and at the same time, I'm there to snowboard, not really to eat. Would I benefit from eating a little bit more on those days? Probably, but I am so hyper-focused on just touching snow that I don't care about food. However, there are a few options for you should you choose to eat here. There's a food truck at Sundance, but I think they got rid of it this year for some reason. But there is a cafe here that serves casual food such as potato chips, pizza, nachos, and so on. If you don't want to head to the bottom of the mountain to eat, there's also a cabin up top called Bear Claw Cabin on the back mountain, and you can get some snack foods up there as well. The cafe and Bear Claw Cabin serve the same type of food, I think, and they also serve drinks as well. So, my final review. It's no doubt that Sundance is a great ski resort. I mean, it was voted the #1 ski resort in North America in 2019, according to the Condé Nast Travelers magazine. So, taking into account everything that I mentioned before, as well as my overall experience, I give the place a 7.5 out of 10. The reason being is because I felt the resort got pretty small for me after I had gone, 25, 30 days throughout the season. But it's still a decent sized resort with a good local ski resort vibe that I really enjoyed. I mean, it's a lot bigger than the resorts I had in the Midwest. The terrain there is fun, I didn't really encounter rude people there, and it made me a better rider. Of course, everyone has a different riding experience than for me, but I'm just happy to say that mine was a positive experience, and hopefully this was helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Now watch this bird do the outro.